Hey everyone, I'm here in the TrailManor because I have a little project I want to work on today. We absolutely love this camper, but having said that, it is not without its downsides, one of which is the dining room table. What I can't stand about this table is that it uses a leaf system, so you can extend it and make it longer, which is great. You can make it shorter so it's easier to get in and out of the benches. You extend it longer, you have more seats for people to sit at. However, the system they use to interlock these leaves, frankly, it's terrible. It doesn't really hold. When the kids lean on it, the table just pulls apart, and it drives me absolutely bonkers. So, I have an idea for a solution. We're going to try it out today. Let's see if it works. So the idea I have for fixing this table is to use these table latches. These are designed actually for tables, for leaves, situations similar to this where you want the different parts of the tabletop to lock together. I got this idea because there's actually one of these on the door of the TrailManor that holds the two pieces of the door together. I figured this would be a pretty good solution. They're fairly lightweight, they're easy to install, and they're designed for this job specifically, holding tables together. Before I get started with the table leaves, I need to fix this one. This one's come out a number of times. They really don't hold that well, but the idea is there's a little bit of spring to them so that they will grab onto the other sections of the table. They don't really work. They don't really do anything. They help keep the table aligned, but even that they're not great at. So we're going to install this one. We're going to put a little glue in there to help hold that screw in. That'll help keep the table aligned, but the table latches are what's going to keep everything together. I'm going to put a little bit of super glue down in that hole. I'll hold everything together and keep the screw from unthreading. Get everything lined up here. And it didn't even ratchet because that's how stripped that hole is, but that super glue is going to lock everything into place. Done. That did not work. So I thought these little white tabs held the table in. When I took them off and tried to pull it out, I probably could have forced it out, but there does seem to be a little lip on this faceplate here that's holding that bar in just slightly, and I didn't want to wrench on it too hard. I don't want to risk ripping these screws out and stripping that and then not being able to get the table back in. So we're just gonna work with it like this. Maybe you can pull those tabs out and get the table off. Maybe I'm just not aware of how to do that, but I don't feel like risking it. So I've gone ahead and flipped the table up like this, and I think this is going to be the easiest way to work with it at the moment instead of having to crawl under the table. The idea is we're going to put two of these latches in. One of them is going to be attached to the leaf and the other to the table itself. We're going to do it in a way so that if the leaf isn't in the table, we can still latch the table together like you see it here. Because even without the leaf in the table, we still run into the issue of that last section sliding out and the table potentially falling over, and it's just no good. So I don't know if that explains it very well, but I am going to show you how we're going to do this. So this piece, we're going to bump away from the other piece just a hair so that when you lock it, it adds a little tension and holds these two pieces together snugly. This is exactly what we want. Pre-drill our holes. So make sure when you do this, you don't rip clear through the entire table. Really, I should mark these. You can put a little piece of tape on your drill bit as a depth marking guide. Or like that one, you can feel when it hits the laminate on the top of the table. Just don't push right through that. Yeah, and I'm going to put a little super glue in here just because There's not a whole lot of material there, and I really don't want these stripping out. I don't know how they're going to hold up over time. This is just kind of a theory I had, and we're going to see if it works. Beautiful. I could have done a better job aligning that, but it's still going to hold in just fine. All right. That actually worked. Something I just noticed messing around with this, when I had the leg here for the table support stretched up that way, it locks into place that way. I think this might be installed backwards. We're not going to look into that right now. Just going to focus on the task at hand, but I'm going to have to take a closer look at this thing. All right, we have the table leaf installed, so we're basically going to rinse and repeat the same thing we did. This is a terrible angle, but it's the best I can do at the moment. Just bear with me. So the reason these keep coming out, these screws, I've discovered while drilling this that this is completely hollow. There is nothing in here. Now that makes sense with a camper. You want to keep weight down, so you have these rigid tabletops, hard rigid tabletops that are hollow. They're still rigid, they're still flat, they're going to hold up, but they're hollow, they're lighter, perfect for a camper. You could probably install something solid if you really wanted to, but it is going to add to your weight, and that's something you have to take into account when you're towing. I have made that a little too snug. And my battery's dead again. So I screwed that one up because I had the piece extended when I measured. I forgot, I don't know if you can see. Let's see how it pulls in. And I had it out when I measured. That's why it was too tight. The good news is, with it tight, it's close enough to the edge of the leaf that there's actually some internal framing in here. And I'm going to sink into that, not to the hollow part. So we should be in good shape. It should grip pretty well. Shouldn't have any issues with those other holes that I drilled. Let's see what happens. And I got to stop talking and just do it because the super glue is hardening as we speak. And I got to stop talking over the drill. There we go. It's a little misaligned, won't matter. You get the idea. When you do this to your camper, you're going to do a much better job than I did. Learn from my mistakes. And now, if I did all of this right, I should be able to lean on this table and it's not going to pull apart. Well, that's it. It worked. Just great news. I wasn't really sure going into it what was going to happen. Always great to see an idea of yours work out. I hope this helps somebody, or at the very least you found it interesting. I think moving forward for us, this is going to be a great little upgrade, you know, really inexpensive, quick fix that's going to have a big impact. We don't have to worry about the table collapsing while we're eating breakfast anymore, which is always good. The latches I bought off of Amazon. If you want, I'll put a link in the description of this video. Really, any table latch will work. These aren't anything special. They were one of the least expensive ones I could find. So, you know, whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.